So this is our classroom climate. It's by Laurel, Angie, and Alexis. So what's going to include the different parts of our classroom is the physical classroom environment and climate, schedule, expectations, procedures/routines, and classroom crisis plan. To begin off, we have physical classroom environment and climate. So this is things like how the classroom is arranged, movement of students and teachers, materials, etc. Also, how is the environment set up to promote a positive classroom experience? So first we have physical classroom environment and climate. And to begin off, we have material management, and this can be anything of having a specific space where students are able to have school materials whenever they need them. This could be tissues, pencils, paper, as well as electronic devices and chargers or headphones that are needed for certain activities. And students have access to them when needed. Next is seating arrangement. Students will be arranged in a way where they're able to work in partners and group activities, and as well as discussing questions that teacher may have asked them and wants them to discuss, as well as for the teacher, it allows the teacher to be able to walk around and check up on students in an efficient way, where some different spaces may be a little bit complicated based on the way the classroom is designed. And the last one is positive reinforcement. Having positive reinforcement used in the classroom can help with behavior, can increase the on-task behavior and avoid distraction, as well as communicates desired behavior that the teacher wants for the students to have within the classroom. And then it also can strengthen the relationship between performance and recognition.
So one of the big things in any classroom is a schedule. And so these things we're kind of going to talk about what is the daily schedule, what does it consist of, where is it posted, and do you refer to it daily? So we said a schedule like this would be ideal, where it has like a time, the subject area, and then like pictures beneath it, illustrating more of what that means. So like a plus or minus symbol, or an apple for lunch. So this will be put on the board with the subject and the time frame. It reminds students to transition in between subject areas. And so the schedule would help remind them about 5 minutes before, help them prepare for that beforehand so that they know what to expect, which would minimize the threats and distractions as talked about in the engagement principle of UDL. And then also just the schedule in general would help with the engagement principle with that, and also the language and symbols, because with the clocks and the symbols behind the subjects. And then having a classroom helper to help with this would also be really cool, because it would give them more autonomy and choice in their learning, and would help keep the whole class engaged.
So next we have classroom procedures/routines. The first one that I put is warm up or bell work. And this is for at the beginning of class, students will have a warm up as a way to transition to their learning, prepare them for the upcoming lesson, as well as get students in the mentality to be focused and have a learning mindset. Next is the timer for transition. This is for when students are working on activities. Having a visual timer can be really helpful for the students. You can get YouTube videos, have an actual clock, just to see how much time the students have to work on their activities and how much time they have left to be able to mentally prepare for a new transition to something different. And then the last one, since our class is third grade, we have class attention grabber/signals, and this can be anything that such as clapping your hands, having certain little sayings to get the students to focus their attention on the teacher.
Another big thing is expectations and sort of the norms in the classroom, how feedback and praise be provided, and what consequences will be enforced. So, just a brief overview of kind of what we would say. A lot of it was based off of the principle of engagement. In order to provide a safe, respectful learning environment where all the kids feel comfortable, engagement is the key to that. So, the key of feeling comfortable and safe in a classroom, which all these rules help enforce is how students will be engaged. So respect is a big thing to teacher and students. So making eye contact and obeying the teacher because they are in that place of authority, but also being respectful to anyone who's talking. And then act in ways that encourage a safe environment, both for mental health and physical health. So there should be no threats being made and nothing that should inhibit a student from learning because they feel unsafe. There also will be positive and negative consequences because consequences aren't always negative for behavior that should be applied consistently, no matter the kid. To reward and punish behavior. Now, sometimes that looks different depending on what the child needs, their background, but overall, besides those factors, being consistent in how you reinforce these expectations. And then using logical consequences, so consequences that make sense. And then also consistent feedback and praise um, by students and the teacher. So formal feedback in the form of like progress reports or notes, but also just walking around the classroom giving positive reinforcement and letting peers give bucket fillers and just praise their other students and encourage them in what they're doing. So those are all things that will just help students engage more and feel safe in the classroom. Um, Another thing is just having warnings, having a series of consequences. So, taking a break in the corner sometimes, identifying emotions, or a warning, a loss of privilege, meeting with the teacher, calling home, then a parent conference, and then a principal conference are all great ways that we thought would be cool to expect in our classroom.
All right, and lastly, we're going to be looking at our classroom crisis plan, how to regain control and establish future crisis prevention strategies in the classroom. Allowing and supporting de-escalation. First step, you want to make sure that the student takes a moment to regroup with their emotions. This can be stepping outside for a moment or finding their own private space within the classroom, just to breathe, calm down. Rather than publicly calling out their behavior, this may end up escalating the situation further. They may feel embarrassed, they may get defensive, and it may just make things worse. It's better to proceed once everything has reached a calm setting. And this would fall under UDL Principal Engagement, Checkpoint 9.2, facilitate personal coping skills and strategies. Next, it's important to communicate privately with the student. This would allow for better understanding to all sides of the situation. It allows the student to be heard and provides context that will help with future emotional regulation strategies and crisis prevention that is personal to the specific student. And this communication should be non-confrontational. You are not punishing the student, you're just trying to help them. And teachers may use whatever resources available to make this more effective or comfortable for either them or for the student. This may include the use of technology or assistive technologies and games, activities, whatever is necessary to get through to a student in a way that is communicative. This would fall under UDL Principal Action and Expression, Checkpoint 5, Expression and Communication. No particular subsection. It really just depends on the student and their needs. Providing alternate activities. Both the student and the teacher should be aware of specific behavioral triggers that may escalate into crisis in the future and be prepared with an alternate activity to bring about self-regulation. So this could be reading a book or drawing or taking a walk. And this would fall under UDL Principal Action and Expression, Checkpoint 4.1, vary the methods for response and navigation. Next, you want to reach out to other professionals and or parents. Feedback and assistance from a third party when the situation exceeds the capabilities of the teacher alone can be very effective, but it should exclusively be done in an effort to bring about improvement and prevention. You want to help the student. You don't want to punish them. You want to meet their needs. This would fall under UDL Principal Engagement, Checkpoint 8.3, foster collaboration and community. And lastly, generating goals for future behavior. In order to prevent this from happening again, the student needs clear and concise expectations on future behavior, and this should be modeled in a manageable way leading up to the ultimate objective of total self-regulation without the need for monitoring and intervention. In order to prevent a crisis, the teacher and the student can come up with a plan, specific small-term goals that scaffold each other into fully being able to manage their emotions and manage their own behavior inside and outside of the classroom. And that is all. Thank you so much for watching.